Start.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to My Startup TV Africa, a show that showcases entrepreneurship across this dynamic continent. I'm your host, Jayshree, bringing you this show from the beautiful Dar es Salaam city in East Africa's Tanzania. Before we dive into tonight's exciting content, here is a quick reminder to our viewers that you can stay connected to My Startup TV 24 by 7. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and Amazon Music. Visit our website www.mystartuptv.in for exclusive content. Download our app from the Google Play Store and follow us on all your favorite social media channels like YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Cool. And hey, even Instagram. We are constantly churning out exciting and inspiring stories for the entrepreneur in you. Now, let's get you up to speed with the hottest startup news from Africa. So, the most exciting news comes from Tanzania itself. Two Tanzanian fast growing startups have been selected for Visa's prestigious Startup Accelerator program. So, these two startups are Beam and Sarafu. I'll give you some more information about these two companies. So, Beam is a cloud communications platform that enables enterprises to interact with customers through various channels like SMS, WhatsApp, and social media. It operates in as many as 20 African countries. Whereas Sarafu is a digital commerce platform that empowers retail shops with inventory management, credit building, and growth tools. It currently operates in Dar es Salaam, where it serves more than 12,000 customers. They are part of a program that is designed to support 22 promising African startups. They will get mentorship, resources, and potential funding opportunities to help them scale their business. Isn't that exciting? And the second news comes from Ivory Coast in Francophone Africa. So, in Ivory Coast, a communication startup named L'Africa Mobile has raised $4.6 million in Series A funding. Our viewers would be interested to know that this startup has was founded in 2014. It has been in operation for 10 years, and it allows clients to carry out large scale communication campaigns using mobile technologies like SMS, USSD, WhatsApp voice, airtime, and text to speech. It has recorded more than 100 million transactions so far, and it is connected to in more than 15 countries and 60 operators. It is growing, and this is one of the this is one of the startups that the world is watching. All the startup ecosystems in Africa are watching this particular startup. And the third important headline that is coming out of African startup ecosystem is from Zambia. There's a construction e-commerce startup called Boso in Zambia that has raised $400,000 in pre-seed funding. So this startup named Boso, it uses a cutting edge concept for construction e-commerce transactions and aims at delivering solutions for African construction and building sector. It has already raised $400,000 in pre-seed round of funding and intends to develop its platform and add new features further. It was founded in 2022, so you can imagine within just 2 years, this startup is really going places. Now, coming about exciting news and using technology to deliver innovative solutions, we have a very exciting guest tonight. His name is Mbangiso Mabasa. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. He's from South Africa and he's the founder of this company named Sisanda Tech. But so Sisanda Tech does something very interesting. It uses augmented reality and gaming to make STEM educations more fun and accessible to young people in South African classrooms. But to get our viewers more excited about what Sisanda Tech is doing, let's watch a quick video first and then we will come to our guests. As you all can see, the Sisanda Tech is using augmented reality to project images from textbooks into 3D images that can be even accessed on students' smartphones. This is as a media report described them. Think Pokemon Go, but for educational purposes. Very futuristic.
Yeah.
I think without the audio, we couldn't make much sense of the video. But lucky for us, we have the founder with us today, and he's going to answer all the questions we may have about what exciting things his company is doing in the realm of augmented reality for STEM education. Please welcome to our show, Mbangiso.
Hi, Jessica. I hope I say your name well. I've been trying to practice, but anyway, thank you for bringing me to your platform, and I really appreciate your invitation. And greetings to all the viewers and your subscribers.
It's absolutely a pleasure to have you on the show. Would you like to quickly tell us where you are right now? And then later you can probably tell us about your company. We all are excited to learn more about it.
All right. As you said, my name is Mbangiso Mabaso, and I come all the way from South Africa. Basically, I'm based in the center province, center region of South Africa called the Free State. So I'm working from them. So yeah, I mean, pretty much, I come from the public school in South Africa, and this is what actually led for us to develop the solution that we have currently because coming from public school in South Africa as a third country, we always had challenges to have our schools to have equipment, to have facilities that we can use to be able to learn, and that is still the case even at this point in time in our country. So we wanted to assist the country by bringing this simulation, augmented reality, and virtual reality into education to actually give access, I mean, give my nephews and my niece, and everyone actually, it's my nephew because everybody calls me Malome, which is basically uncle. So to give them an access to actually have a platform where they can explore their curiosity, able to learn, create, and play at the same time.
I'm going to structure the next set of questions on the company itself, how
Yes,
what are its origins and how did you build Sisanda Tech. So I
yes.
understand that you left a secure career in engineering to launch this company. What was the turning point that made you prioritize educational impact?
Yes. So I graduated in 2012. I remember upon my graduation, I was also awarded by my university, Central University of Technology in the Free State. I was also awarded as the best semester for student, the best telecommunication student. So everything was looking up for me. And I managed to go and get experiential training in a company called Nkoka, which was working with big broadcasting companies in South Africa, companies such as SABC, which is our government broadcasting station, and also there's also another company which is private, it's called MultiChoice. So upon my completion of our work integrated learning, I was then taken to MultiChoice to work at MultiChoice, and I was basically monitoring signal that is coming. You guys might know because you're dealing with live TV now. So I was that guy who was monitoring if the signal is good and everything is good. And yeah, I only worked for a year, and then I started to realize, like, no, I cannot be doing this for the rest of my life. And I was only 22 at that point in time, and with a lot of money that can be able to support my family and still support my lifestyle at the same time. But I really felt the job was not for me to be able to do stuff like that, because I usually like to think and build stuff and work on other stuff. And there has to be new thing for me to be excited. If something is not new, it's really, really, really taking me off. So that's why I decided to leave multi-choice, and then started to work on Sisanda Tech. But then it was called Sisanda Energy Lab. And then as we build the products, but you see this product, we are selling renewable energy efficient bulbs, but we saw this market is not ready as yet. Then we had to pivot upon us releasing our first mobile game. Then we started to focus more on software and apps. And that's when Sisanda Tech was born. And that's when we started to work on Sisanda.com.
Okay. Good. That's a very interesting turn of events. I mean, but it is also curious to see that unlike, say, maybe Cape Town or one of those urban cities, you chose to address the needs of learners in probably communities like Botshabelo. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, Botshabelo. So the thing that I always say, Jay, is the fact that sometimes when you are creating as a designer, it's tough to imagine a solution that is out of your what you are experiencing right now. I've never been in a private school. Probably I'm going to private school now because I'm pitching for my product to be used in private school. But I've never been there, and I cannot understand what is the facility and everything that has happened there. But Botshabelo is because I know the students, I know the learners there, I know what kind of families they are coming from, and I know the limitations that they might have in life for them to prosper in life, you know. So it was easy for me to start having the solution for people from the township, you know. And then that's when we started to pilot in other township, such as one in Hammersdale. Now we are going to one in the city of Mhlatuzi, where we are also working with township slash rural areas, because of that problem statement, we really understood the demographics that we are dealing with. But as soon as we started to develop and meet other people, then we realized other private schools, they could also need our solution because they're trying to cut the cost, so they may not build science facilities. So that's where we are getting into a system.
Now, coming to that point, South Africa has faced a significant lack of STEM facilities, as it's the problem with many developing nations, the rest of the African continent in general. Um, how did this really, influence Sisanda Tech's approach towards augmented reality? I'm very curious to explore that connection between these things.
So 80% of schools in South Africa, they don't actually have a science facility and a lab of whatever way they can be able to explore their curiosity at. And it would actually cost a lot of money for the government just to try to build a state of the art science lab. But we started to see that majority of the same school that doesn't have science lab, they are
Mm-hmm.
getting tablets, and then we saw that is an opportunity for us to actually bring something that is more interactive. But then we ask ourselves, what kind of technology are we bringing? And as we started to look at the emergence of 3D, uh, real-time 3D and augmented reality, then it makes sense that we can literally bring science to life for learners to actually see it in front of them, unlike just having it as a 2D simulation, or just have it as something that is flat on the book. But learners can actually see all the angles or all parts of the human heart. Like even the t-shirt that I'm wearing, because it has augmented reality, people used to believe that it's actual my human heart. You understand? So because of the eye, we are seeing stuff in 3D. So when they see stuff like this, they actually believe and understand it without actually writing it down with text. You understand? Because the animation and stuff like that just makes it easy for them to understand. That's when we thought like augmented reality is gonna be our way. We actually wanted to do virtual reality, but we realized that majority of schools may not be able to afford to buy MetaQuest 3 or the Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro right now. But all of them, they have devices, they have tablets. Let's rather use what they have, and we give them the great software that they can be able to use.
Okay, that brings me to a very interesting question based on personal experiences. Would, if a student in one of your classrooms has to dissect a virtual frog, would that be possible?
Yes, I mean, we go in there. There's been a lot of prototypes that we have shared in the past, other in public platforms, but we've already had where prototypes of students being able to have an access to a simulation of dissecting the heart. We have the heart, dissecting the frog. We have dissecting of the heart, and we also have the setting of the eye. So there's all this cross-sectional that learners can be able to do. But people should note, like, there is comes a limitation with the fact that augmented reality is 3D, but people are accessing it through the screen of the smartphone, which is usually a flat screen that doesn't allow you to be there. So dissection of something, it may not gonna be physically like cutting
Right.
of something. We just have to use design and development just to give learners an idea. So dissection body systems where learners could see this is a circulatory system, this is a skeleton system, and all this kind of stuff. We have them. We have the such content that just simplifies. One of the things that teachers themselves, they usually say, I wish this technology was there when I was still a student. You understand? So that's amount of how they see it actually helping them out and making stuff easier for them. If stuff are visually, it's usually easy for students to actually learn.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see what exactly goes on these classrooms. You're giving some
Yes.
very interesting insights. Now, from uh, I understand science, technology, and STEM subjects. I understand broadly. What other subjects do you think would be able to receive your solutions very well? What I mean is that what other STEM subjects do you see being a great fit for AR learning experience that Sisanda Tech is developing?
Yes, so currently Sisanda Tech, it's almost done with the content related to biology, or in South Africa we call it life science. Then we now gonna be moved to physical science and chemistry. That's another path that we're gonna be entering. And then after then, so in South Africa, between the grade of 4 to 9, they have a subject that they call natural science and technology. So the technology part, it's more like the engineering meet technology together. So that's still another path that we have to enter. A lot of teachers have asked us to do mathematics, but we are trending slow in terms of mathematics because we always thought like we need to be careful not to just introduce technology to maths, but not actually help learners to learn. So we might start with science or technology related subjects, then later on, once we are ready with mathematics, we can actually start to work on that. And some of the content, we present them in a most game way for learners to actually understand. There is a demo that we are working on. It's called Maadi. Basically, it's a marble game that you have to shoot to go between between a gap created by two bricks. So that game, it may look like a simple game, but when you are looking under hood, it's basically a game of friction to teach learners about force, to teach learners about momentum, and all this kind of stuff. So we are working. It's some of the content that we're still working on that's going to be integrated to the big platform as time goes on.
This actually sounds very exciting, and I can't wait to hear when
Yeah.
you execute those projects and share the updates on your social media feeds.
Yes.
Now, coming to the next question, are there any similar products in the South African market? And if yes, how does your solution, differentiate? I mean, how do we differentiate between your solution and their solutions?
I mean, probably other developers because we part of a big WhatsApp group. There is a WhatsApp group called We Are Via Josie. So I know a couple of companies and guys, they are working on educational products, but it's not even for them, but it's for third party people that they are developing for. And we also know that we also appreciate the fact that Western or American startup are also kind of like entering the market in South Africa. There is a company called Labstar, which does the Science Lab, and there is also a company called MeshCube that does the same content. So how we see ourselves differentiated from those companies are leaving my fellow colleagues, because my fellow colleagues could be developing for other people. I haven't actually seen the actual product that they've developed. But to those guys, Lemstar, MeshCube, Prexy Labs from Egypt is the closest one. Prexy Labs from Egypt. So how I get to see is, firstly, our staff are South African curriculum aligned. So if a learner have to jump in into our content, they they're aligned with the curriculum. Secondly, we understand, we kind of like appreciate the popular culture around the demographics that we are targeting. So even how we approach design, it's always colorful, it's always energetic, just to give them. If you go to our YouTube now, you would see there's a lot of, we have dancing moves that are currently being done in South Africa. So we kind of like take those small stuff to put it there, because if there is only one thing that I don't like is to come to a platform, then I feel like I'm in school, you know. But I need them to come to a platform, but they can relax here in this platform and still learn with a relaxed mindset. So all those platforms that I mentioned, they really look like they really look very schooly. They really look very schooly, as much as they're using latest technology, but from their user experience, they really look way schooly. It's too formal. And for me, sometimes, as much as we are doing formal education, we must make it fun, or we must make it more appealing, the same level that TikTok is making entertainment to be appealing. So we need to come to that level. So I think from point of user design, we get in the idea. And also now we started to move. I'm glad that we're having this interview, because coming from next week on our website, we're going to be launching an access now, not to download the app, but to actually use the content on the website, which means now majority of people don't have to worry about the app. They just want to worry about having access to the internet and start using our app, you know. And as we say, we African first, and you'll feel the taste and the flavor of what we are bringing, because it's coming from our culture. We are not trying to build anything from any other body's eye. We're just looking at from the point that we are Africans and we understand the problems that we have, and yeah, we're gonna cater the solution for that.
Well, whoever said a smart student needs to be a nerd? What a fun and creative concept to bring education to classrooms. And I think I studied in the wrong century.
Yes, no, we should make a time travel and go back to that century, and we put Sisanda.com there.
I fully support that. I fully endorse that
Yeah,
that plan. I'm going to pose my next set of questions based on a lot of articles I read online
yeah,
about
yeah.
your company. So I especially refer to that Red Bull basement residency program you completed in
Yes,
2018. Am I
yeah,
correct?
yes, yes, yes.
Perfect. So, in that article, you mentioned that you know you were using municipalities using Sisanda Tech for citizen education. Can you elaborate on that point? And if you have some applications, and how do you plan to go beyond schools? And how did you mention municipalities and not just schools?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot of at the end we see ourselves as an education platform. Yeah, we might start at the science, at the science, at the STEM sector, because like when you start business, you can't just go for the entire market. You have to have a niche one and start from there. And you learn from that point. But as we going through and start to focus on other stuff as municipality or trying to go on other ventures, like one thing that we've came to realize is after grade 12, after they've completed the last grade learners, what are they going to use? So we started to think about ideas like how are we making their TVET, technical and vocational education and training much simple, because that's what's currently the government is talking about, getting more learners to actually do TVET education. So how we planning to use and build is to continue to build more educational models that we can eventually use augmented and virtual reality. Going back to municipality does in South Africa, municipality does a lot of roads fixing and does a lot of running of water, installing those. But those we can be helping municipality to save on their training, where their people can be able to train how to put a tap and how to install it just using virtual reality or just using augmented reality. Same can happen with firefighters within the municipality to actually train with our solution. So there is so many these opportunities that we might chase down the line as we grow as the company. But we first have to make sure now majority of learners who are using our app, they are passing, and as they go to other stages of their life, then they still have Sisanda to go with them.
So, would the people who are training these learners, I'll use the term loosely, the people who are training, won't they require a special set of training in for like, if I have to teach someone about, you say like a firefighters, if someone must be teaching them, right? So the teacher has to be trained as well.
Yes.
What do you have?
Yes. So usually when we do implementation, we usually come and implement and bring the tablets. We got like we usually buy. It depends if the school have its own access to tablets. We then just go to the school and install the software. But in a case where a school or an organization doesn't have its own tablets, we then put it as part of the package and we buy them the devices. So the reason why I have to start there, that's the first part of installation. Once that part is done of installation, we then now meet with the teachers, because if teachers are not trained, our solution is not going to be used in class. You need to get the teachers comfortable, you need to get them the buy-in from them that this solution can work for them. So we'll then set up a day and we sit with teachers and then we go through the app. This is where you start from the app. This is when you are looking to locate a certain content, this is how you do it. What do you think about this content? And teachers will tell us, no, maybe here you must add one, two, three. We want you to explain this thing further. Then we would work on those things to try to explain the stuff much further. But it's usually a co-communication or co-creation between us and the teachers because they are the implementers in the classroom. So they do get a training before the technology gets rolled out to the classroom. And learners, we could also give them training so that when teacher is only one teacher in class and there's 40 learners in most public schools in South Africa, 40 to 50, that would be the range of a public class in South Africa. So we might have to get other learners to actually know so that they can assist the next learner. But how we build Sisanda Tech, we build in such a way that it's a simple click. You look for the content that you want to learn about DNA, click. You open DNA, here is a screen to DNA you can read. You want to see it in, because now we started to make it look 3D first, but if you want to switch to augmented reality, here is the button, click. That's how simple that you are able to use our platform. We don't want to, like, as I said, like, I check other systems, they are very formal and they're very, and sometimes that thing, it becomes difficult for somebody who doesn't have time to fill all this those information or to try to navigate. As we keep it simple.
I have always told our viewers that a sign of a healthy product development is taking feedback from the
Yes,
people who are actually using the product and then developing it further. This is a great way to go ahead.
yes,
So,
yes.
before we move to the next set of questions, a quick
Uh,
reminder to our.
just
Sorry, please.
okay, so sorry, just to disturb, but I just wanted to say something on feedback. Feedback is crucial in whatever that we are building as entrepreneurs. As much as we are in these rooms, in these four walls, and we are building stuff that excite us, we still have to get it to people, and we still have to hear what people want and how we can make our solution better. Sisanda Tech or Sisanda.com has been built by feedback that comes from people, and that's why we continue to return back to the same people. Do you like our font? Is it our font clear? Is this color not blinding the information? Is the audio better? So we do all those stuff just to make sure that we are able to certify our demographics.
That's actually wonderful. That's a great way to go ahead.
Yeah.
But before I move to the next set of questions, I will like once again give a quick reminder to our viewers that you can stay connected to us 24 by 7. You can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and Amazon Music. Visit our website www.mystartuptv.in for exclusive content. Download our app from Google Play Store and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms like YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Believe me, we are constantly churning out inspiring stories and insights for the entrepreneur in you. Now, let's move back to our interview. We will ask the founder of Sisanda Tech about what's fun and futuristic in the solutions he has created. So, Bangi, I have. Let's put the next set of questions on slightly with a slight fun twist.
Yeah.
Imagine we are 10 years from now. How
Yeah.
do you envision Sisanda Tech right now? I mean, how do you envision Sisanda Tech's AR technology transforming STEM education? I understand you are planning to go pan Africa right now in 2014. Sorry, 2024. How do you think we are looking in 2034?
Yeah. So 10 years from now, goal number one is for us to have 1 million learners within our platform. Recently we just had election in South Africa. I saw how difficult it is to get to 1 million users or voters. So that's why I'm giving myself as a big goal that we want to get to because it's really that difficult. And then in terms of technology or in terms of us just coming that we are building a Pan-Africanist technology that can go from Cairo to, I mean, from Cape to Cairo. We already started to run tests in Zimbabwe. We have spent so much time in Zimbabwe and we sold our t-shirts together with our partner, Learning Factory. And we also did a lot of development courses and workshops in Zimbabwe together with another partner. Matamba Film Festival. So we've already started to test with our neighbors because they are closer here to see how can this solution work and how can it work in such a way that it really meets the African point and understanding all the circumstances of data requirement and all this kind of stuff. So what we see within that 1 million would definitely see a platform that has multilingual and that are supported by its language that is coming from, because language is key as much as we have visuals, but we need to come to the point that we have Swahili, we need to come to a point that we have Shona, where people can actually learn on their own language. I always said we had this dream of seeing a child in Botshabelo being able to learn the same time with a child in Harare or somewhere in Uganda, Kampala. They can be able to log into the system. They don't have to see each other's real representation. They can be avatars and they're communicating and they're learning the concept. That's how far we want to actually see Sisanda is able to do. And at this point in time, Sisanda, what it has, it's a content that I'm saying it's a passive content where learners are just learning with what they're given. But we want to get to the point within 10 years that learners or teachers, they can be able to create their own content and teach other learners in the same way. Where that's why when you go to our website, we say you learn, you create, and you play. The play part is the fact that we want to bring the game that I've spoken about and other games that just basically take the concept, that size concept, and turn it into a game. So we just want to be that platform that can be able to assist, and we also like to enter maybe a tertiary market where we can assist in terms of bringing education to learners. I mean, when we are in Zim, we are already talking with my partners in Zimbabwe about how do we bring pediatrician education to more learners who are interested to assist doctors. Because if you check in Zimbabwe, I mean, to assist small kids, babies, toddlers, yeah. If you check the situation in Zimbabwe, there is 1% of students who are able to get access to university. So, how Sisanda see this as an opportunity stage, we could have Sisandas that university at a later stage within that 10 years, that learners, I mean, students in Zimbabwe, they can register to learn how to become all doctors or try to use it as part of their simulation. So, yeah, there's more content to be created, there's more modules and courses to be created and more people to partner with. Because me, I'm just a technical guy and a creative guy of getting stuff done, but we still need to work with subject matter expert. We still need to work with other organizations to get this app growing across the African continent. I hope the African Union could see this and see how we can work with the Department of Education there to assist us test this app in a couple of countries and see.
Fingers crossed. I hope all these dreams and aspirations come true.
Yeah.
If so, one more question. So, if you could create an AR filter for any historical scientific figure, who would it be and why?
The problem that you guys may not know him. You guys may not know him. Like totally, it's those unsung heroes. It's not somebody that you guys will ever know. But I need to tell the tale about this legend. He was not a scientist, but he was the technologist or the engineer, self-taught, never went to school, never did anything. His name is Ntatera Mateola. He comes from Botshabelo, and Ntatera Mateola, what he did back in my days when I was a young man, he would create a car, a flying plane out of rubbish, out of scrap metals. He would put them together. He would have, I'm getting excited. Sorry, I'm getting excited, but this man was brilliant. Rest in peace to him. He was really brilliant. He would take the scrap metals and put it together and turn it into a car. He builds his bicycle, he puts a motor engine at the back, and he turned it into a motorbike. It was no longer a bicycle. Then he built his own plane that he flew within Botshabelo for us to actually see. When you felt like he's done, he was not done as yet. He went and he built his own what do you call skyscraper, but it was not that tall, but it was a huge building because most houses in Botshabelo they are on one level, but his house was the tallest. So think about Iron Man, but from Botshabelo. His Iron Man from Botshabelo. I would definitely love to, if we had all the archive and all the stuff, I would definitely love to scan his work and bring it to the internet because he's one of the brilliant people that who inspired me. It's person that I saw growing up doing all these things without formal education. That was inspiring.
Yeah, could you give his name once again? Maybe our viewers will quickly Google his name and find out more about him.
I wonder if they're gonna get him, but his name is Ntate Ramateula. Ntate Ramateula.
Matheola. All right.
Yes.
And now I'm going to ask two questions which are slightly serious.
Yeah.
So, one would be what, looking back at your own journey, what advice would you give to young aspiring entrepreneurs who want to make a social impact through technology? One. And secondly, what are the most unique challenges and opportunities you anticipate in augmented reality in classrooms? So, you can take either of those questions in any which
Yeah.
order. Yeah.
All right. In terms, maybe let me start with the second one, then we can finish with the last one because that one I might get passionate. So let's start first with this one. So challenges that I've already encountered with augmented reality in education is the fact that certain devices they are old. You get to the school, you find a tablet. It's an old tablet that doesn't have enough power to run this content, and the school really needs to run this experience because they can see what Sisanda Tech can be able to do or Sisanda.com can be able to do. But their devices might be old. And another thing, when you go to township or slash rural areas, the issue of connectivity becomes real. So we still need the mobile networks that we have in Africa to ensure that people are having access and they're having much cheaper data. As we said in South Africa, we want data must fall. Data must be cheaper because once data is affordable for everyone, many people are going to be able to have access to quality education. So that's one thing that we also faced within that. Funny enough, because of high crime activities that we are also experiencing in South Africa, you find that these type schools have equipment, but second day somebody steals the equipment. That can also affect us in terms of how are we bringing um, apps or augmented reality to such. So, and also probably another thing is just trying to make sure that the user education is clear on how the learners should use this and how the teachers should use this. And some of things that teachers have also asked, it's a synchronicity between their platform and the platform of learners so that when they point or when they direct, learners could eventually follow. So we still have to develop such to make sure that education, teaching in classroom becomes seamless. Going back to advice to the upcoming guys, number one, I think it's a point of you need to understand who you are. You need to try to allow yourself to find who you are and be okay with yourself, with your strength, with your weaknesses, because it usually starts from that point. And number two, if you are employed, I would say to you, don't do what I did. What I did, I realize now in hindsight, this is not for the faint-hearted. You really need to think it differently. If you're employed, please work on an idea as a side hustle, right? And especially if majority of your family are dependent on you. You understand? Because for me, I jumped the ship and I forgot like my family that depending on me. Now I have my new family, my own new family. So they also depended on me. So I got two families that are dependent on me. So if you are in a situation where you got dependents on you, please make sure that you try to get money to eventually make sure that on a monthly basis you can help them out and still continue to build your own idea. Number three, it's all hard work. It's really, really, really all hard work. Like you can't build business and build it um like approaching it soft. Like I wake up, it's a proof. People can go to my YouTube channel now, they would see the content that we are sharing. I'm sharing a daily content. They would see that I wake up at 3 a.m. and finish my day around 8 when my body cannot function anymore. So that amount of hard work that is also needed to be able to build business. Money is important. You're gonna need a lot of money. You're gonna have to always try to raise money or monetize your solution as soon as possible because you're gonna need that money to build the solution. Yes, another thing, your friends and family are not your target market. Please stop expecting much from them because that can also be discouraging. Please go beyond your family and friends. They are good in terms of sharing their stuff, but don't force them. And also don't bring the business back to them. You need to be able, for those who are married, you need to be able when you come back, you can talk to your wife without not talking about business so that you can take your mind outside there. And same applies when you go to your family, you should not make them part of your business. They should be your distraction and allow you to get yourself out there. And another thing, I'm trying to keep fit now. I've gained so much kgs because of I've just been sitting in front of the computer. So my advice is please try to keep it fit. Your health is important. Your health is the one that's gonna see a 10-year plan that you have. If your health is bad and you are not living the best life for yourself, it's going to be a problem. But find something that you anchor on, that's something that will ground you. If it's religion, please do find a religion. If it's meditation and other stuff, please do find those things. And also, try by any means you limit social media. Social media, I mean, the company can have its own social media, but try to detach yourself from those social media platforms because they can do a lot of mental stuff on your brain. They can depress you, especially if you're not winning and other people are winning there by LinkedIn. They always say, hey, I'm happy to let you know that today my business got another funding. But when you're checking your email, people, your email is saying, we're sorry to let you know that your application has been rejected. Sometimes that comparison you with other people can really affect your mental. That's why I don't post much on LinkedIn where you found me because I'm trying to keep my mental health sharp and focus on what I'm supposed to do right in front. Please, if you are in social media, don't have it on your devices, have it on your browser so that you can fully focus without being affected by notification and stuff like that. But otherwise, have fun. We're all gonna die one day, so you better have fun doing what you committed yourself to. So yeah,
Excellent then. So at this point of time, I think we will wrap up the interview. Do you? That was incredibly insightful, to be honest, Bagiso. Thank you for sharing your views and insights about how augmented reality can change the future of learning.
yes,
Before we let you go, there is just one more thing. Where can our viewers learn about Sisanda Tech? Can you share your website details and maybe your
yes.
social media handles?
Yes. So I think the most updated and the regular updated platform where people can reach us is Sisanda.com. Sisanda.com. This is where you can be able to find our latest and latest content. Follow up by our YouTube channel, Sisanda Tech. Please just search Sisanda Tech on YouTube. This is where you're gonna find the latest content. But otherwise, in other platforms, social media, we are at Sisanda Tech. We are at Sisanda Tech. We'll probably post as time goes on, but for now, most active platforms that we have, it's our website. We got blogs. Uh, Coming from next week, you're gonna start being able to have access to our content through our own Sisanda.com. And also, if you wanna reach me or talk to me directly, you can say Baso, BASO, at sisanda.net. That's where you can send me an email, then we can be able to talk. And if you want demos or you want those, you want to try our solution, please, we can talk through that email. I'm happy to be engaging with everyone who wants to make sure that the young scientists, the technologists, the engineers that are coming, they have a better platform for them to actually explore their curiosity. So I'm happy to engage anyone who wants to provide all young ones quality education using augmented and virtual reality.
Wonderful. This to our viewers once again. Please remember this email ID baso at sisanda.net. And our guest tonight, he will respond to all your queries and questions that you may have about the subject that he described so beautifully this evening. Huge thank you to you once again, Mbaso, um, uh, for joining us tonight.
Yes.
And have I said your name properly?
Baso is coming from my surname Mabaso. So
Okay.
Baso at sisanda.net,
Yes.
BASO at sisanda.net. And thank you so much for finding me. I was really excited for me to come here, and how you found me and how you became patient in connecting with me. I really appreciate your effort. I hope you could continue to do that to other startups within our continent. And thank you for your team to prepare me for this interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again. Have a very good evening. As we wrap up tonight's episode, once again, viewers, don't forget to visit our website and social media pages for exclusive content and more in depth discussions like we just had. We have a vibrant community of entrepreneurs and supporters waiting to connect with you. To our viewers, keep watching My Startup TV Africa. We'll be back next week with even more inspiring stories. Until then, this is Jay Shree signing off. Have a good evening. Bye.